Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Caleb Janssens and I review everything that gets released on Netflix. If you're ever curious about a new movie, series or show, if you want to know if it's any good or not, come to my channel and I will let you know. So subscribe if you want more reviews of anything Netflix based, and let's just jump right into this review of XO Kitty, which was a Korean series, and generally when it's Korean, I am looking forward to it. And when I read the description of this, I was kind of hoping for something that would kind of blow me out the water a little bit. It's a predictable story, and I wanted it to be told in a unique way. And unfortunately, the series really didn't just do it for me. So stop me if you've heard this one before. We follow a teenage protagonist as she wants to learn more about her deceased mother. She didn't really have much of a relationship with her, and so decides to follow on the steps of her mom by following a diary. Now, this diary takes her to a place she's not used to, and she decides that she's going to go to school there and learn new people and just try to reconnect with her deceased mom. If that sounds familiar to you, that's because I think I've reviewed maybe 5, 6, even 7 shows on Netflix that follow that exact same formula. So this is definitely a story that feels incredibly predictable just from the get-go, and it only gets more predictable from there. I won't lie, the first 3 episodes, I think I predicted every single narrative beat that happened. I think episode 4 was the first time where something happened that I just didn't predict or I wasn't really expecting. And if I can predict the first 120 minutes of your show, then I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing. Now, I do feel like there are going to be a lot of people that do enjoy the show. There definitely is room for this. If you're a fan of movies like The Kissing Booth, or you're a fan of shows like Love in the Villa, then this is something for you. But unfortunately, again, I can just say I don't think I was a target demographic at all. Now, there were just a few technical issues that I noticed. And in many ways, I do feel like I'm definitely picking a little bit too harshly on the show. But one of the things I noticed was just the audio inconsistencies, which was really a massive frustration for me. Someone that works in voice acting, I know what good audio sounds like, I know what bad audio sounds like, and there were many sequences where there was just such bad audio that was done. Certain characters would be in a room and you could literally hear their voice echoing when it wasn't supposed to be. That was disappointing and shame. This is something that maybe I shouldn't be picking on, because again, as a voice actor, especially someone that does a lot of dubbing for Chinese shows, I understand how difficult it can be to say words and phrases that aren't in your native language. Flip, I really struggle with some of the Chinese sentences that I do have to say, and you can see the actors struggling in the show because most of these actors are bilingual. They're speaking Korean, then they jump into English, and they go from English back into Korean, and you can see that a lot of them are just struggling when they're trying to say their English sentences. And while I don't want to give them too much flack on that, there are entire scenes that are English only. And in many cases, I would say this is an English majority series. So most of the time you're listening to these actors speak in English, and you can hear that they're trying to force these words out. You can hear that they're really struggling, which again does suck because I know what it's like to be given a phrase or a series of words that just twist your tongue and it's difficult. And so I don't want to be too harsh on the actors there, but across the board, the audio was inconsistent. Another thing about the audio that really did frustrate me was the over-reliance on licensed songs. I could not get through the first 2 episodes without feeling like all I was hearing was songs that had been bought in and songs that were just looping. Basically what would happen is you'd have characters talking, but of course because they've paid to use this very well-known song, they're busy playing the song in the background, and very often it's even overpowering the actors' voices. And just when one song stops, the next one starts. And so I just wanted scenes where, there was something, the music that was orchestrated, or just something that was made specifically for the series, not just a licensed song with people singing. And so unfortunately that became frustrating as well because I was having to compete with the audio from the actors, with the audio from the songs, and ultimately I was just losing what was being said, and I found myself reading the subtitles more than I was just listening to what was going on. And then finally, the most frustrating thing, something that always frustrates me, is characters with no depth. And unfortunately that was the case with this show as well. As I mentioned, the story felt incredibly predictable, and you can only have a predictable story when you've got shallow characters. So that was definitely something that was unfortunate from my side. Look, if you enjoy shows that are, romantic comedies, if you enjoy things that are just there to have a good laugh at things, are just supposed to be feel-good stories, then you're definitely going to have a good time with the show. There's definitely a space for this type of content in the world, but it just didn't feel like it was made for my demographic. But guys, thank you so much for watching this review. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. Do not be afraid to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again in another review.